cell, a solar cell or PV cell, is an electrical device that converts the energy of light directly into electricity by the photovoltaic effect. A single solar cell produces about 0.5 volt of electricity and up to about 8 amps of current, depending on the type of the cell. Second solar cells are metallized with thin rectangular shaped strips printed on the front and back sides of the solar PV cells. This metal context is called busbars. It will conduct the current generated by the solar cell. And the thinner metal, which is perpendicular to the busbar, are called fingers, which will help to collect the currents. 5 busbar cells are currently one of the leading trends in solar systems. And the higher number of busbars reduces the effective finger length between the busbar, which decreases finger resistance losses, as well as the impact of micro cracks. Frequently, solar cell busbars are constructed from copper coated with silver. The silver coating is necessary to enhance current conductivity as well as lower oxidation. Just as in the battery connection, the solar cell can be connected in series to increase the voltage. So, for example, if we have 3 cells in series, each of them is 0.5 volt. Overall voltage will increase from 0.5 volt to 1.5 volts. Similarly, we can connect the solar cell in parallel. So the current will be 8 amp. So for example, if one cell have the current of 8 amp, the overall cell still have 0.5 volt, but the overall current will becomes 24 amps. So it depends on the requirement of the system. We can either connect the module or cell in series to increase the voltage, or in parallel to increase the current. So we connect 60 or 72 or even 96 PV cells to form a PV module. And then put the PV module either in parallel or in series to form the PV panel. And then we have the array constructed in the overall system. PV module is formed by several layers. The solar cells are laminated between transparent EVA films and then coated with tempered glass for protection. And it has waterproof material on the back. And edges are sealed with waterproofing and anti-corrosive aluminum frames. Finally, a junction box is attached at the back to provide electrical connections. Okay, this figure shows the typical junction box. 暂停一下，有错字。That there are diodes and also connections to connect the module, the cells in the module together. A diode is a one-directional electrical device. It can only allow the current flow in one direction, but block the flow in another direction. Usually cables with MC4 connectors are at the end of the box. And the junction boxes have at least an IP65 rating or even have IP67 rating. The 6 represent the grade of the protection, which is dust protection. And 5 from the table 2 means that it can sustain the low pressure water jet from all directions. If the grade is at number 7, that means it can sustain the immersions in water between 50 centimeter to 1 meter for 30 minutes. So all junction boxes with an IP65 rating will provide protection against dust and low pressure water jets. There may be limited ingress inside, but it won't stop the component from properly functioning. A solar junction box with an IP67 rating will provide complete protection against the dust and will properly function after temporary immersion in water. Just as I mentioned previously, there are diodes in the junction box. In addition to that, we need to put extra diodes to either service blocking diode or bypass diode. A blocking diode allows the flow of current from the solar panel to the battery, but prevents or blocks the flow of current from battery to solar panel, thereby preventing the battery from discharging. Bypass diode is used in case one of the panel of multi-panel strings is faulty. It bypasses the faulty panel by providing current an alternative path to flow, and thereby maintains the continuity of power production. Okay, so typically in a junction box, there are 3 diodes to bypass the string. So in case there's a cloud or shading on spots in the solar module, the current will be bypassed. So therefore, we can still use the panel. So in this case, there's a leaf on top of the string, but still we can use 2/3 of the module to generate power. As for the MC4 connectors, it is MC represent manufacturer multi-contact. It's currently stably electrical connectors. 4 for the is represent 4 millimeter diameter contact pin. It's a single contact electrical connectors, commonly used for connecting solar panels. MC4 allows strings of panel to be easily constructed by pushing the connectors from adjacent panel together by hand, but required a tool to disconnect them to ensure they do not accidentally disconnect when the cables are pulled. And this figure shows the MC4 female and male couplers. And there's a website that in the YouTube. There's a YouTube film that you can check out to see how they are assembled. But later in our class, we'll teach you how to do that. And in addition to the connector we just showed you, MC4 connector also provide Y connectors, which will allow the panel to be connected in parallel.